Welcome back to the Happy Chicken Coop YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us. Many people ask if it's safe to free-range their flock. Unfortunately, as with most questions in backyard raising, there is no simple yes or no answer to this. We need to understand first the pros and cons of free-ranging your hens, and we're going to talk about that in this video. Before we proceed, please like and subscribe to this channel and check out our website at thehappychickencoop.com. Let's get to it. Should you free-range your chickens? First, let's define what free-range means. For most of us, we have an idyllic picture in our mind of hens wandering over the yard on a beautiful sunny day, free to go wherever they want, right? Well, USDA defines free-range as chickens must be allowed access to the outside. Outside doesn't necessarily have to be a beautifully manicured garden or backyard. It could also mean a small concrete yard with not a blade of grass inside, barely accessible to the hundreds of chickens contained in the factory barn, which is hopefully far from what you have in mind. Fortunately, changes are happening within the chicken factory. Many fast food franchises are now refusing to buy caged chicken eggs, even they want free range. So what are the pros and cons of free-ranging your flock? Let's start with the benefits. If possible, I'd always recommend free-ranging your hens. This will definitely help keep your chickens happy. And remember, a happy chicken means more eggs. If your hens free-range, they are able to forage for themselves. Bugs, grass, grit, whatever they need in the way of nutrients. This helps cut down a little on feed costs and also helps to keep any insects under control. Another great benefit is by providing them with a more natural/humane environment that will reduce the amount of flock issues you might have. Caged hens are susceptible to boredom, and this means they will start to peck at their own feathers and bully each other. By letting them free range, they don't get bored and they also get plenty of exercise. Also, chickens are great little gardeners. Watch them rototill, eat up any and all bugs, eat weeds and flowers, glean the seeds from the ground, and fertilize them as they go. They can also bring a smile to your face as you watch their funny antics in the yard. Chickens are smart, and they often know what their buddies need. So if you keep your chickens free range, they will go out and get it, whether it's protein from bugs, nutrients from a puddle, or grit from the driveway. Free-range chickens are not often kept in small spaces. Thus, their health is not at risk of respiratory disease, parasites, and other problems chickens in close quarters contract. There isn't a concern about ventilation for free-range chickens, nor do you have to worry about cleaning their bedding, aside from where they roost. And as far as tucking them in at night, you don't have to if you keep your chickens completely free range. Consider them a wild critter on your property that gives you deliciously fresh eggs every day. If you plan on processing your birds for meat, it is always important to know what consists of their diet. Free-ranging allows your birds to eat what naturally is provided through insects and greens. Finally, I don't know about you, but I just think that free-range eggs taste so much better, don't you think? Of course, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. Free-ranging also has a downside of its own. One of the biggest disadvantages is that they will poop all over. If you're looking for a perfectly clean and manicured garden, don't free-range your hens. Also, I should further warn any gardeners here that your hens will definitely eat your unprotected plants, so make sure you protect any you want to keep. You will need to do a head count each evening to make sure all your hens have gone back to the coop. Occasionally, you may find your hen perching in a nearby tree. However, the biggest concern I have with free-ranging hens is that they are a much easier target for predators than hens in a run or coop. But of course, there are ways you can follow to keep your free-ranging hens safe, which we will discuss later on. Apart from the pros and cons, one other thing you should think of is how you would let your birds free range. There are 4 types of chicken ranging you can consider. The first type is in a confined run. In a confined setup, chickens are kept in a secure pen or run that is not open to the outside, and they have some sort of protection from aerial predators too. Of course, you must still provide adequate space for your birds to be comfortable. Having several birds in one place for any period of time will result in a barren, muddy run. It can also lead to some nasty behavior problems such as egg eating and feather picking. You will also need to provide them with things such as dust bathing area, perches, and etc. Remember, chickens are curious and get bored easily. It's your job to keep them amused. The second type is a semi-confined run, like a chicken tractor or something similar. This is a great way for the birds to enjoy fresh grass on a daily basis with little fear of predators. The tractor can be moved around as necessary, although this usually requires some muscle power or some sort of vehicle to move them. Personally, this is what I recommend to beginners, as your hands constantly get to explore a new environment without the risk of predators. The third type is supervised free range. This means the birds are out and about when someone is there to watch them. Having the girls with you when gardening, for instance, would be supervised free-ranging. This sounds great in theory, but in practice, a predator can still run off with one of your chickens if the opportunity arises. Predators are cautious and sneaky. If you have a large number of birds, it's impossible to watch them all effectively. Also, if you work full-time, then the amount of supervised free range your hens get will be minimal. And last but not least, complete free range. This is where the chickens have access to the pasture during daylight hours. But here, the flock is open to attack from numerous sources, especially hawks, owls, and eagles. Perhaps a livestock guard dog can watch your flock, or perhaps they can simply be guarded by the rooster. My flock has been free-ranging now for about 5 years, and my only loss has been to a hawk. My rooster gave his thigh for his ladies. The hens were untouched. He gave them enough time to get to safety. With true free-ranging, you have to accept that you will have occasional losses. If you have valuable breeding stock, rare chickens, or consider your hens as pets, free-ranging is probably not for you. So how do you keep your free-ranging hens safe? Here are a couple of ideas. Number 1. Ensure the areas around the coop and run are clear. This is basic and simple. Number 2. If they're able to forage in an area that provides some cover for them, that is ideal. Trees and shrubs provide natural cover and make it more difficult for an aerial predator. Unfortunately, the downside to that is that animals such as fox and coyote will use the cover for a surprise attack if they can. Third, do not allow too much vegetation near the coop. You need to have a clear visual field around their housing. About a distance of 25 feet or more is best. Fourth, make sure your yard is not predator friendly. If you have a livestock guardian like dog, donkey, or alpaca, predators are not inclined to visit. If your house dog is okay with the chickens, let them wander in with the birds. Fifth, visit with your hens frequently and vary your timing schedule. Predators such as foxes will stake out your place, trying to find a weakness in your security. Frequent visits disturb the predator's sense of safety. Sixth, a good rooster will protect his ladies, and you can help him by erecting either permanent or temporary shelters for the birds. It can be as simple as a tarp draped over a couple of stakes and secured in place, or a pallet raised on blocks. These ideas may not be pretty, but in a pinch may save your hens from becoming dinner to other animals. 7. Surrounding the area with a portable electric fence will help with ground predator safety. And 8, as mentioned, your hens will eat up anything tasty. Try to ensure that you don't have poisonous plants in your yard like foxglove, pokeweed, and etc. If you can remove them, please do so. If they are part of your flower garden, you're going to have to fence the area so the hens cannot get in. One thing to be warned about is that despite all you do to prevent losses and keep your flock safe, there will still be occasional losses to predators. Much will depend on where you live. If the area is teeming with raccoons, coyotes, and foxes, you may want to supervise free-ranging birds. We live in the country, but are fortunate that predators stay away from our farm, likely because of our dogs. If you live in a town or urban area, cats, rats, and hawks are likely to be your worst enemies. Not too many cats will bother a full-grown large chicken, but chicks and bantams would be primary targets. Rats, on the other hand, can chew into your coop and eat eggs and chicks, so you should watch out for them too. Free-ranging is not for everyone or every situation. You have to weigh the benefits against the negatives and decide what fits you and your flock. Personally, I think that the benefits of free-ranging birds can't be beaten, and they seem to be happier when out and about. In some situations, though, the negatives outweigh the positives, and for the safety of your flock, they must be confined. Just keep them busy and active, and they really won't care that they can't get out. If you have expensive breeding stock, you likely won't want to risk them becoming lunch. So if you have the space and ability to give them a very large run, that's ideal. If you can't afford to get and train a livestock guard dog, they are certainly well worth the investment. Ultimately, the decision you make will depend on where you live and how comfortable you feel with the circumstances. Don't be afraid to change your mind about things. You may want to free range at first, but lose a couple of birds quickly. Go back to confinement if necessary. So, do you free range or confine your girls? We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you find this video helpful, please like it and show it to your friends. We make informative videos every week, so stay tuned by subscribing to this channel and clicking the bell button. If you want more comprehensive content about backyard racing, then give our website, thehappychickencoop.com, a visit. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.